like it, try something else on. It does suggest where we've reached in what young people want. You like your labels, don't you? Do you? You like your brands? Are you slaves to the brand culture? It's all part of what the Occupy movement would call the capitalist 1% approach. But more importantly, those young kids needed to be somewhere else. And our theme, as a legacy of the 2002 Commonwealth Games, was citizenship in action, somewhere to go, something to do, and more importantly, someone to show them. And at this moment, there has been a policy for some years that young people can go to museums. Have any of you been to a museum for free? Yeah? Try and do it in a sports centre. Not possible. And I believe, and that's why I'm now asking to see if you think it's right. If you're into arts, you can go to a museum for free. If you're into sport, as a form of leisure or recreation or social interaction, you can't. You have to pay. And I believe that is one of the major reasons, especially in the summer break, where kids have nothing to do. Of course they're going to go to the big show in town. That was the big adventure. So one of the key recommendations of that Legacy Manifesto, and as a result of having the 2012 Olympic and Paralympic Games, is that young people should have free access to sport, leisure and recreation facilities. I believe in one fell swoop, we remove all of the issues that relate to stop and search, and social behaviour. Everything is removed. And once you're in a building, now you can start to come up with creative ideas. So that's, I saw an e-petition, there were 100,000 signatures sought. There were 150,000 signatures for a debate on stiffer sentences for those young people who were arrested after the riots. And that was in a week. So that told me where most of society's views were to young people. Our petition, has it had 500 yet?
354.
That's how interested they are in young people in this country. 354 signatures over how many weeks?
We've got about 4 weeks, 8 weeks.
8 weeks. And I have used every single contact. If I had my international networks helping us, we'd have about 5,000 to 10,000. But they're not British subjects. They do not reside here, so they're not allowed to vote. Or they're not allowed to support the petition. The Hillsborough disaster, did you hear about the Hillsborough disaster? They got 120,000 signatures in 2 weeks. Liverpool's a strong city with a strong community of attitude. Lots of rebels in Liverpool. So, I decided that the appetite for young people was not as it should be, is that young people should either make this happen or not. Because every time I go in there, they get nervous now, because I know what I'm coming for. And by the way, they all say yes to me. I just don't bother. How many adults say yes and just don't bother? Which is why you get to do it yourself. So today's about, this is one of the most important days in the Youth Charter's history. It's one of the most important days for young people all over the country, because that's who you represent. And how you are able to convince and make happen, and see that e-petition. And for me, it just needs to be an improvement on what it is. And it continues, it's not just a one-day commitment. You become activated citizens. You are citizens in action. And you're now making the right strides and steps that sees you make a difference for yourselves and young people throughout this country. Party political broadcast over.